Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Here we go.
All right.
I feel like that's good, right?
That's lovely.
You didn't. I've never made one of these for you before,
I feel like you may have. I think it was like a fairly household featured cocktail.
It's like summertime hits, and we should say the name is Summer Toddy.
Okay.
For those people that are really into cocktails, it's basically a Gold Rush with a little bit of club soda on top.
Okay.
And the story is when Laura first started coming to visit me from Costa Rica, she had never had a hot toddy before. I couldn't believe that, right? Like hot toddies.
Yeah.
I mean,
she had a hot Andrew.
I mean, thank you for saying so.
Hey.
I mean, it's a long time past.
Small victories at this point.
You win. But anyway, so she got into them and she's like, man, these are really good. But I kind of want them. And when I go back to Costa Rica, when I'm in the warm weather, I was like, You know what? We're going to make a summer toddy. So that's what it's called. So
it's lovely.
I think, now that we're an official thing, because second episode, we'll have things like show notes. We can put it in the show notes, as they say in the podcast community. So we'll put the recipe.
Is that what we say in the podcast community?
I mean, we're in, right? I mean, I do have to say, when this started, and I think we said this the last time we did this, when this started, we didn't think we'd be doing this routinely. We still might not be.
Yeah, let's be fair. This is episode 2.
Right,
so we probably still aren't doing this.
I mean, what's that line in Major League where they're like, we win one more, that's a winning streak. So if we can get to 3, I think the momentum's behind us.
Yeah.
Then we'll hit like episode 7, 8 lull, and then we'll have to bring a guest in to really reinvigorate.
Introduce a new character, which sometimes you jump the shark when you introduce a new character. Yeah, so we'll have to see. But
I am amazed. I am amazed. We're here. Customs and Cocktails keeps going.
Yes.
The other thing I was amazed at, and I know we're gonna get to it, is the comments we got from people. And then, some of them post on LinkedIn, so it can be read by anyone who wants to. But some of them we got privately, and fair to us, some of them were pretty positive. And others, I got a few, and I know we're going to read through them. That
couple critiques,
busting our chops, and we deserve it, right? Because
of course,
we dish it out as much as anyone else.
It.
The difference is we have a microphone, so if this thing continues, people can take all the shots we want.
Exactly.
We can say whatever the F we want on our own podcast. But yeah, let's start. I mean, I think the overarching comments, and I'll turn it over to you to read some of yours in a second, but I think the overarching comments were just appreciating that we are 2 idiots doing our thing, and bringing a little levity into a topic that can be serious at times, can be complicated for sure, can be a little bit dry sometimes, and none of those adjectives describe us. We're not complicated, we're not serious, and we're definitely not dry. That's as evidenced by our cocktails.
Yes, very good analysis.
So I've put some time into this. I've probably done more homework on this than sorry to the staff, but I've probably done more homework on this than I've done for anything else we've done.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's more fun than I expected it to be.
You start a company, it goes for 12 years, and now it's on autopilot. So we needed to do something else. But anyway, I think it'd be worth. I know you printed out a hard copy of some of the comments.
Do you want me to go through the comments on my side?
I would start, and then I'll give you a couple of the ones I got. But I think it's good to read word for word. I also appreciate, as you are in your early 50s, that you actually printed out something.
I did.
And the font is not insignificant.
No, it's big font. Let's see, because I was hoping I could read it without my glasses, but
can I tell you before?
Not big enough.
That reminds me of something. Before you get into that, I just went to the eye doctor for the first time in 7 years because I had LASIK done.
Right.
So I was like, what do I need this for? Well, as you know, you get to a certain age, and it's the lighting starts to affect things, font starts to affect things. So I've been a couple of years of like doing this move, and I swear to God, the eye doctor, she did the test, and she's like, yeah, it's coming, right?
Right.
Like, And what she said to me, she goes, when you run out of arm length, that's when you come back and you'll get the reading.
My doctor said the same thing. Said the taller you are, the longer you go before you need reading glasses because you have longer arms.
I can't believe that's a real thing.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
So, I mean, as you know, I'm all torso and built like a dolphin.
Yeah.
I've got probably 20 years on me before this happens.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Isn't that crazy?
It's nuts. Go ahead.
All right. So let's see here. We got some comments in and we figured, hey, we don't know how long we're going to do this. Let's read some of these comments. So I'll protect the last names of the innocent, but I will mention first names. I even got some nicknames here. So from LL Cool Dave. By the way, Chester drawers is a commonly used description throughout areas in Connecticut and Western Mass. Who knew?
I still don't believe that. For LL Cool Dave out there, I'm going to need some proof of that. I'm not saying it's impossible, but the fact that you have a people out there that speak the way you do is terrifying. It's and amazing, something I'm not willing to believe at this point.
That's well, that's great, Dave. And I appreciate that. Any support I can get from my own stupidity. That's great.
If I could just say to that point as well, for all the new listeners, because obviously
they're pouring in.
I mean, word got out. Yes. It probably went from like 7 to at least 12 at this point. So those
Watch
5
out,
people,
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, we're on our way. Like we do this for those 20 years until I need glasses. We'll definitely be up to 90 at that point. But to that point, for anyone that hasn't watched this before, like my wife still hasn't watched the first one.
Yeah, well,
I mean, come on. Like,
those that are closest to us hurt us the most.
That's what I'm saying. But we do what I think is going to become a regular part of this is Shawn-isms.
Yes.
And the chest of drawers versus Chester drawers was the one from episode 1.
Episode 1.
And don't worry, everybody, we've got more coming.
More coming. And I have more coming, apparently. I discover at least one a month, I would say. I'm on
there's no end.
From Henry, I love that Halo helmet. Thank you, Henry. I love that Halo helmet, too. For those that aren't gamers, and I'm no longer a gamer, I'm kind of retired from that, that video game is what changed video games forever. That set the path for modern video game playing. Anyway, great story. It's not just a video game. Great TV show they did on it.
I think I'm going to out. No, I'm going to keep interrupting you. I'm going to out that person. I don't know if it'll describe who he is.
Well, there's more to the comment.
But wait, before you go, the story of when you mistook him for someone else related to this helmet, and we'll get into that, and I think that'll be good.
Another one of my great moments. Henry also said, and this is not the only critique we had on the cocktail. He said, "I'm not sure that we can count Aperol Spritz as cocktails. They're refreshing drinks to keep having fresh ideas." So I challenge that. Well, I agree it's a refreshing drink, but I think it still falls in the cocktail category. I mean,
summertime hits.
It's a summertime cocktail.
You go to cafes around the world, summertime hits, you're seeing Aperol Spritzes.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
Over I saw a thing on my reels that came through. There's an Aperol Spritz machine. Have you seen this?
No.
It's like a dispenser. You just pour in the and it measures it in each pour. Ooh. So it's like a bucket of it, and that might be something that becomes a regular feature. Ooh. So anyway, nice. Okay. I disagree. Although we did do, this has bourbon.
Yeah, we got bourbon in here, so we kicked it up a notch there for you, Henry, and we'll see what happens.
Hopefully that counts.
Yeah, and there's more coming. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
From Manny said, you said it, 2 idiots, and you mentioned it again. So he agrees with us. With no argument there.
I might have got that personally as well.
From Ray, I want to join the Black T-shirt club.
Who doesn't?
So we accidentally did this last time and got like 10 minutes into shooting. We were like, oh, 2 idiots with black T-shirts on.
And so now it's a thing.
We leaned into it. This is our uniform.
Well, this is the only shirt I own, so I just wear it wherever I go. This is my fancy V-neck, so I put it on.
All right, I'll try to go through these quickly because we do want to talk about some customs.
If we must.
From Christian, alcohol and a microphone. At your ages, I would have thought you guys knew better. He also said that he hopes we don't have mimosas on episode 2. So more critique
might have mimosas.
Or potential critique.
I might have mimosas sometime just for him.
I can tell you that Christian has a hatred for mimosas.
I know also what would make him particularly happy is buying those mimosas in a can.
Yes.
That you can get.
He would really love that.
We might have to double up on cocktails at some point.
Yeah, we may have to. From Richard, those are cocktails. The firm must have strict guidelines for such consumption. I have no doubt the conversation will be much more substantive than the cocktails. Everybody's hating on the Aperol Spritzes. I don't know what's going on.
I'm telling
you. Here we are.
Wrong.
Here's another cocktail comment from Kathy. My husband suggests you create a drink using liquors from all the liquor producing countries. You could call it import punch. Well, that's great, except I think we would be rushed to the hospital.
At
right?
least I'd be staying the night here.
My goodness.
At our age, I mean, come on.
I mean, how many alcohols are we going to mix? That would be wild.
I know, crazy.
But I'm not against the idea.
We could do a selection. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah. From Cindy, is this the CBP version of Drunk History? I hope so.
Probably. Probably.
Tracy, I love this. Greg, I would say you were more of a skate rat legend back in the day. Homemade half pipe hidden in Tamaqua Park Woods. Legendary. Well, that's a separate story. We'll get into in another episode. David, I love the reference to blind squirrels. Yes, blind squirrels occasionally can find a nut, and so here we are.
Broken clocks, blind squirrels.
This is awesome from Robin. Dietmar, always up for something delicious over some sense or nonsense talk, including customs issues.
I think that one, everyone knows who Dietmar is.
Yeah,
Dietmar's like Madonna, like Cher. He doesn't need the last
Beyonce.
name.
Yeah.
Everyone in the customs world knows exactly who
that is true. We're almost done here. All right, so Tom said, congrats, Dan. To paraphrase W.C. Fields, customs drove me to drink. It is the only thing I am indebted to them for. That's an old reference. My goodness. W.C. Who even knows who W.C. Fields is?
I mean, come on.
Wow. Sylvia, we need a podcast from you guys. I'm pretty sure it'll be fantastic. Well, we'll screw it up. Don't you worry.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Asha said, when matching shirts, mixed drinks, and customs talk collide, either brilliance is born or we end up with trade policy on a napkin.
To be honest, how much of that policy is written on a napkin already?
Do you know that the mutual work that TSA and CTPAT do and the overlap of the AEO and the known shipper, known consignor, that kind of. Anyway, sorry, I wasn't prepared to talk about this. That literally true story that started on an napkin.
Of course.
Yeah. I went out with a TSA colleague. We said, how are we going to do this? We had a bunch of drinks, wrote down some notes. That was the end of the day.
Although I bet you the trade policy people would take issue with that because they're a lot more fancy. The trade negotiators, they sit in their world. Right. But customs folks, I mean, you're lucky they can write, let alone put it on a napkin.
Yeah, you're not kidding. All right, we're almost done here. Rock said, I was hoping to see matching tattoos.
Well, I can show off some. They're not matching. Do you know what this one, I can share a little later, but my son, I'll leave it up.
Yeah.
My son watched the movie Up for the first time. You know that with the balloons?
Yes.
And you know there's that bird, it's like the phoenix in there. He looks at it and goes, hey, Dad, your tattoo's on TV. And I was like, this now looks like the lamest tattoo.
That's what you were going for, like a Pixar tattoo, right?
Well, the thing is, I watched that movie, loved it, put it on my arm. That's the way it goes.
Finally, Michael said, this is when the magic happens, when you have the drinks with the conversation. So
well,
I agree.
I think cheers to that, and cheers to everybody that's paying attention and giving us a little bit.
Thanks for the comments, everyone.
I think that, I won't go into all the comments I have, but the one overarching theme is that no one commented on our custom stuff.
I know.
It was all drinks and how we're idiots, right? So, I mean, to an extent, we're going to have to lean into that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think if people continue to watch this or take time to entertain themselves with this show, it's going to be, I don't know, would you say 75% idiocy and 25% substance?
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I would want to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's entertaining to us. And, Lord knows this is a vanity project for us. But the one comment I did get, which was interesting, we got it from some of our staff and outside people.
Okay.
Wanting to know why we were hating on the AEO program in international development.
Well, that's interesting.
So I do want to take a bit of an off-ramp on the cocktails conversation, get into substance a little bit, and talk about that particular issue. Because I think you and I talked about this. I mean, everyone that knows us, I think it comes off pretty well, even if you don't know us and you're watching this. Well, if you don't know us and you're watching this, thank you so much. I don't know who's tuning in.
I don't know who would stumble on this.
But if you fell into this and this is doing it for you, please, there'll be more of this to come.
Exactly.
But we're just honest, right? We call it like it is. We want to have the conversation. And as you and I have personally told certain people that have come into our life, busting chops and making fun is how we show love.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, this is just who we are.
Yeah.
This is the way it goes.
It's where we grew up. I mean,
It's how you grow up. It's it's what you get put through, and I think that's important, and I think that's important substantively for this issue, because to be quite serious, like, we love that program. We love international, and it's because of that love we want to call it out and say, hey, this is what's wrong. This is what works. This is how we could see it better. And I think most of that is going to come out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a funny comment, but it's funny you say stuff, you don't realize how other people are interpreting it or hearing it. But I mean, I've made a career out of AEO. I started in CTPAT in 2006. Spent 6 years in the program, but then have been working on AEO issues and CTPAT issues ever since.
Yeah.
And I genuinely believe in the program, in the concept. I really, really do. And it's because I believe in the concept and the program that I can be critical of it at this point. And no, it's not perfect. None of these programs are perfect. They have all kinds of issues and challenges, but everything does. The good news is that there's enough companies around the world in these programs, tens of thousands. I don't know what the count is now, but I guess we're, upwards of 100,000 companies worldwide that are, AEO trusted companies. And, that speaks volumes. Yeah. And customs administrations around the world are able to say, hey, those companies, we're not checking them as much as we would regular companies. Yeah. And so anyway, without going into a big, long diatribe, I think it's healthy to challenge these programs. I think all of them need to look at the future and identify, like, what are the benefits going to be? Because, benefits yesterday aren't benefits today. And so what does that look like? Let's challenge ourselves, and being critical, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, and I think even critical makes it a interesting word, because 20 years into this concept, more than 20 years, you got to ask, like, what's next? What's modernizing? How are you adapting into the world today? And we talked about it a lot on the last episode of, customs is getting good around the world at modernizing and becoming more efficient. So where does the benefit come from? Where does the collaboration come from? And there's all kinds of examples of that. But I think it also applies to other things in the customs world, and we are currently going through that in some of the work we're doing on free trade zones abroad. You like that segue? I told you I've done homework on this.
Like, very good. You're much more prepared than me. I was just prepared to drink.
I know. This is why I do the homework. I show up at your house. At least you set up.
Okay.
But instead of taking a hard right into free trade zones, I worked, comments into this. But what we're seeing on the free trade zone work is kind of it follows the same vein, because we're getting a lot of questions now about, in the current environment, if you are a country and you're setting up a free trade zone, what does that look like? What does it have to do? And there are a number of different models out there. Some are good, some are bad. The ones that are kind of free-for-alls, that don't have the security, that don't have the inventory protocols, that aren't based on, WCO guidelines, for example. Those are the ones that, may not survive or may not do as well or provide the benefits that they're looking for. In this day and age, with the current trade environment that we're looking at, and we could spend multiple episodes of this show on the new kind of world order of the way the tariffs are going and, how that's all going to shake out. And we spend our time trying to figure that out ourselves, just as I imagine everybody else is. Right. But one thing is for sure, that the concept of origin is going to be incredibly important for these zones. And if you haven't set up a security-focused free trade zone where you can articulate how you've done it, what's in there, what left, what activities are going on in that zone, you're never going to get the full benefit of the trade that you expect from the foreign direct investment that comes in to the trade that goes out. Because, just taking the U.S. as an example, as we continue to kind of broaden the trade aggression, let's say, the main part of that is going to be, what are we doing with China, right? And if you have free trade zones, we're currently working in Vietnam trying to help that become established. if you have a place that's that close to China and you can't find a way to articulate that these products are not just Chinese products coming and end around and trying to make it in some easy way to the U.S., you're going to be out. So to me, I think, as we talk about, questioning current status quo and looking on how we modernize, that's a really good example of something worldwide that needs to be taken a look at and say, how do we do this better? I think the economic incentives of the FTZs around the world are really good. I think the places that have undertaken economic development in addition to the FTZ, phenomenal idea. But if you don't have, and kudos to the WCO, they have really clearly articulated those requirements of really security and compliance. If you're not following that, you're going to be hurting, and you're going to probably get much more scrutiny, which undermines the purpose of the zone. So, as we do stuff around the world, I think, part of what we're going to do, in this venue is try to bring those ideas out and try to kind of articulate how we think they should be done. Again, we have the microphone. We can say whatever we want, right? And whether anyone listens, who knows? But I think those are the kinds of things that we're looking at in our day-to-day. I think the overarching point is modernization with an eye towards what is the current context. And security is one of those that I think is right up there with what we're looking at.
Well, yeah, certainly. It would be, I can't imagine that the new administration is going to shy away from security
Probably not.
as the top issue.
No.
Through whichever lens you want to see that through, whether it's, through the immigration lens, through, financial security, whatever lens that is, security is the focus, right? So, if we look at just kind of shifting a little bit to AEO, around the world, I think it's fair to say that AEO programs have always been focused on compliance, customs compliance issues. And they really fit the security piece into those AEO programs because of the safe framework of standards, right? And that holds all those guiding rules, and that your AEO program needs to have some security focus. But in the U.S., that program was built from a security incident, right? 9/11.
That's where it comes from.
And so it's always been driven by that, and it continues to be driven by that, and it makes it a challenge to align it around the world. Now, they do align it successfully, but only the security aspects of it. And you can't align the compliance aspects. You can, but you can't give benefits on compliance because those are your national rules. Anyway, so in terms of the security posture probably getting even stronger, the only thing that I would say is, as we look at AEO programs around the world that are developing, implementing, we've done a lot of work in the Western Balkans with their AEO programs, is, all AEO programs, all customs administrations are seeking that mutual recognition arrangement as the end state.
Yep.
And a lot of them are seeking that with the United States as a key trading partner. I don't know how tariffs and all that stuff's going to change that or not. But the bottom line is, I would just urge those countries to ensure that they really have a strong security posture within their AEO program, and they're training up the staff to understand the nuances of the security aspects, because when those moments come for negotiating mutual recognition arrangements, they're going to have to really identify the security aspects of the program. That's key to the whole thing working. Yeah,
I think that's right. At the end of the day, that's going to be not just a nice to have, but a requirement.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see where this takes us. But I think for our work and the things that we're doing, that level of modernization and security is not going away. For a while there, like you said, something gets born out of a security incident. You think like, okay, we established the minimum security criteria. Let's see what the world does. Hopefully they get it and they move forward. And the compliance piece is so complicated, and it's oftentimes much more difficult. And you look at some of the programs around the world, getting people into a security-based program is oftentimes easier than it is getting into a compliance-based program. But now, you not to minimize the importance of compliance, because it's always going to be there. It's the beating heart of the customs around the world. But you're going to have to show, and it's not just security. It's not just the physical security or the cyber security or the additional things that are being layered on now, but it's showing that you have to have some level of awareness, right, of what's going on in your supply chain in a way that's really never before been demanded. And that goes into these other parts of what gets leaned on by AEO. Because let's face it, right? I mean, you know this better than I do, but when you're a government, when you're a customs administration, and you're looking to put a new requirement out there or a new thing, who's the easiest group to hit? The AEO members, right? Like
you already have an established relationship. You already
got a relationship, right?
You trust them, right?
So it's like no good deed goes unpunished, right?
Yeah.
And so now there's a new requirement. Hey, let's test it out with these guys. We'll bring it up at the next working group. Well, okay, maybe that's right because they're a little bit more advanced than the others and they can do certain things. But man, I mean, it's got to kind of evolve. I think where there's minimum security criteria, to use the verbiage from CBP and CTPAT. That's going to start to become a requirement across the board, right? Like this kind of awareness. I think, like we were talking about with identifying origin evaluation. That I think is going to become more and more required of just imports, right? Like just to get it in. And then your AEO programs are going to be tacking on top of that. So it is going to behoove a lot of the companies to kind of take that into consideration and understand, like, hey, there's going to be more stuff coming. And that goes to another piece that I know we talk about is that collaboration aspect of AEO, to make sure that they're the ones voicing that, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're an AEO member right now and you're pissed off that the government keeps coming to you to do all the new stuff, you're not wrong, right?
Right.
But it ain't going to stop, right? So
the curse of competency.
Yeah, I mean, and it happens in every organization, right?
Yep.
Like, I mean, we're the incompetent ones, so they put us behind a microphone while all the talented people are writing something of value, right? Anytime writing is necessary, if you and I are doing it, something went horribly wrong. We're good editors at this point.
Yeah, well,
right?
my spelling is...
well, we'll get into that, of how you think of the English language.
That's true, yeah. Something glitch in the matrix.
But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, come up with the creative idea, and we have some of our clients now that are doing that, and I think that's the way. I think that's the way the future is going to go, and that's kind of fun for us, right? Because we get to work on that.
Not that we have a script, because
Go off script.
we do not. But it just crossed my mind because we keep talking about AEO, whether it's through compliance or security focus, but ultimately, AEO is one of the critical components to risk management. Mm-hmm. And so I just wonder, kind of continuing this theme about security focus, how do you think risk management is going to play into this kind of changing landscape?
Yeah, I think it needs to start hitting. The way it's going to go is the way that it currently is, with individual units dedicated to risk management. That's the old way of doing things. I think what you're starting to see is in every aspect of customs, border management, let's say, sanitary, phytosanitary, agriculture, whatever else, it is demanding for risk management. And so it presents a couple of different topics. I mean, we talked about it on the first episode, but it's worth repeating that you have a situation now where AI is becoming more prevalent, machine learning is becoming more prevalent, automation is becoming more prevalent, and you have an opportunity to introduce that level of efficiency and accuracy into your regime, like whatever you're putting out there. And I remember when I left CBP and I had done some stints at our targeting center, I was amazed that the way we contemplated risk management was different than the way other customs services, it was an ignorant, like a parochial view that I had, right?
Yeah.
But you look at it, and now, kind of 12 years past that, you're like, man, these principles can be applied to almost anything you have, right? So you have, just taking, let's use examples like AEO, post-clearance audit, and, narcotics, contraband, targeting. Right now, in a lot of places, those three things in terms of risk management are done completely separate, if at all, and are using very different algorithms, using very different information. How powerful would it be if you put those things together, right? Because now we have the capacity to teach these systems at a clip that has never been thought before. So the way I see it is, you have all these different programs, and when we do capacity building, we usually get it based on the program, right? Like, there's a donor organization that wants to build capacity in post-clearance audit or advanced rulings or something like that, and maybe part of that will be risk management. But I think the more important way to do that is to build, a big centralized risk management approach, country by country, regionally, by organization, that just leverages the amount of data, because data is the gold, right? The more data you have, the better your systems are going to be.
Right. And
to stovepipe it is going to be something that doesn't work. And the other thing too is, I say that in my head. I think back to my time when I was in CBP and be like, this asshole, he doesn't know what he's talking about, because we do that now. Like, agencies are talking to each other, but are they? Right? Like, really? Like, part of 9/11 was to make every agency talk to each other. And do they do a better job now? Absolutely. Are these coordination nodes like the NTC, NCTC, TSC? Absolutely. Those are phenomenal things. Are we done? Is that the end of the road? Definitely not. Right? And so when you look at that,
NTC, National Targeting Center.
Oh, thank you.
Just in case.
Just in case. Who doesn't know?
We've got a global reach in this program.
But I mean, at that level, why can't you bring it all together, at least in one place? And I think where it gets difficult, and again, just going to the international, where it gets difficult is not everyone's as lucky to have a unified border face as the United States is, right? So we have access to information on immigration, on a lot of our intelligence, the customs piece, that all feeds into each other, and we can do things with that. So I say it almost blissfully ignorant, right? Like, I'm hoping that those data pieces will come together. But this is a long-winded answer to your question, which is the future of it is that those things have to come together, and we can't pretend like they already have. So I think we're going to see it. I think we're going to see it become more and more challenging, and I hope. I hope we can be a part of that, because that's the fun stuff.
For sure.
So speaking of fun stuff, we could go on and on forever, but a recurring part of this show is definitely going to be maybe we'll come up with a better name, but Shawn-isms.
Can I just pause for this? Really is a delicious cocktail,
right? I mean,
it's very, very
it's summertime
nice.
In a glass.
Yeah.
You
know, it's like if you could drink. What was it? That suntan lotion. I used to say it smelled like liquid Florida.
Like Hawaiian Tropic?
Hawaiian Tropic. It's like if you could drink Hawaiian Tropic. Yeah. It just makes you feel like summer. It's great.
But it does also not taste like coconut or anything, just to be clear.
No, but it's edgy, right? Like, because it's got the bourbon. So, so you can taste that it's got the liquor in it, but it's just,
I think
nice.
We presumed that people knew it was in a hot toddy, but basically it's
that's a good idea.
It's lemon or lime juice, whatever you have. It's honey syrup, which is a simple syrup made with honey instead of sugar. And then bourbon, and then topped off with some club soda.
Yeah.
But it does the trick, man.
Very nice.
It's really, really nice.
Very nice. Hopefully we won't get too much hate mail on this one. I mean, we've upped it a little bit.
If you're hating, you're watching, right? That's
they're not going to be happy until we're like passed out from doing tequila shots. That's
a
how
frozen
this is
Jägermeister distributor.
A flying Hirsch.
I mean, in all honesty, flying Hirsch. In all honesty, like, I know we talk about this all the time about getting older, but for most of the people that I know listen to this, they know us in a certain way, I mean, shit, you and your family used to blame me for your late night out.
It was always your fault.
Always. If I was coming to town, there was a warning that would go out. And I feel like it was the momentum of the moment, not necessarily me being the one like, Shawn, you got to.
Every story needs a villain. So there you go.
And I play that. And it's not just you, it's the rest. But I will say it is the addition of the years on my age, a 5-year-old, and just maturity. Let's call it that.
Sure.
just even talking about like passing out, flying hearse and everything, it exhausts me.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it makes me tired, right?
Oh,
like,
I can't even imagine.
I mean, we do it in the company. We go out, we have a good time. You know, everybody comes to my house, we'll cook the dinner.
Yeah, but not like that.
How tired are we even just on a reasonable evening?
Just on a reasonable evening.
I was out.
Getting old is something, isn't it?
It's something. I was out last Friday night. A friend of mine, he turned 47. And we were over in Arlington, which takes a lot for me to go across the river. To come out here, I mean, shit, I had to stop. I packed a snack on my way out. But we were out in Arlington and, you know, a good group of people. And one of his friends is a bartender out there. Mm-hmm. So he shows up and first drink is a shot and a beer just to get the night rolling.
Right.
And
Always
it's
a
his
great
birthday.
idea.
So he wants to start doing shots.
Oof.
And I swear, like, the not doing that shot with the group was the greatest decision of my week, by far.
I'm sure.
Because I went home, got to bed a little later than I wanted to, but totally reasonable.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, speaking of getting old.
Go ahead.
Most people assume your Shawn-isms come with your age, but I've
been living with them for a long time.
And not only have you been living with them, but you've been living with them in, speaking of blissful ignorance, you've thought they are the correct way the world works.
Yes.
And I think last time we did not intro this properly of like why this happens and why it entertains me. So I'm gonna go ahead and summarize this for the group. You have an incorrect way of saying things, spelling things, or just generally understanding things. And it's funny in and of itself. Like you could get things wrong. Like people have been singing the wrong song lyrics for, you know, their life. Right. But what's amazing about you is the Shawn-isms have a detailed explanation.
Yes, they do.
That doubles down or triples down on the incorrect nature of what they are. So I think the one for today, maybe we'll do two. The one for today, I think, is the first one you introduced me to after I called you on the intensive purposes thing that we mentioned last time. And so for this week, the Shawn-ism is the phrase "getting down to brass tacks."
Yes.
Now, in your defense, that is indeed the phrase. You did not get that wrong. That's the correct phrase. We're getting down to brass tacks.
Right.
Which hopefully, I hope I'm being patronizing and condescending and telling anyone who's listening that means that you're kind of getting down the business, right? You're finally, you know, you've exhausted everything. You're getting to the end, and you're getting down to it.
Where the rubber hits the road.
Right. We could just use all the cliches we want to confuse the issue. And so the saying comes from, in construction, the brass tacks are kind of down to the studs, right? Like you're, you know, at the end, like this is the things you have to do. You thought it was a and this is appropriate for a customs podcast. You thought it was a tax on brass. and
I thought it came from like colonial times.
And to the point where you were explaining to me, you're like, you know, like the tax collector comes on board of the ship and you've like taxed, you know, the liquor. I've got some rice here, probably got some tea in that time. And I don't know, guys, you got any brass? Like that's the last thing.
The last one. We're down to the brass tacks.
And I swear to God, man, I lost it. And I still, to this day, that's the Chester drawer, the brass tacks one, are still ones that like I really can't tell without at least a huge smile on my face or laughing out loud. So God bless you and your thought process.
Thank you very much.
I since we do have a little bit of time before we have to stop.
Are you going to give him a bonus?
I'll give him a bonus. And this one involves the rest of your family because, as we mentioned last time, your wife and daughter have come to texting me when you say one. So I remember I think I was in Vietnam at the time I was traveling, and I was in a cab, and I was coming home for the night, and I think it was Viv. I think your wife texted me and says, "Hey, what is the language, the ancient language that you know is talked about in terms of the kind of the Mesopotamia, Egypt, you know, like in the general what is now the Middle East and ancient Persia and moving up through." And I really didn't know where she was going with that. So I didn't know. So she goes, would you say it is Sanskrit? Right. Like Sanskrit. And I said, yeah. And then she writes, not sand space script. And I said, no. And in my head, I already knew what you were thinking when you explained it to me, which was, well, it's a place with a lot of sand and they wrote stuff.
Yeah.
So
I stand by that. I'll argue that one. I stand by that. I mean, they were writing that stuff on like sandstone, right?
I mean, sure.
In sand? Like
Sure.
Forms of sand?
Let's go with that. I think
It's
that's
script
right. I think that's right.
in sand. Sand script.
Anyway, man, it was fun. I'm glad we got to do this again. Cheers. Hopefully
man.
everybody likes our new cocktail.
Yeah.
Let's keep doing this.
All right. Sounds good.